Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is a chess show on Pod TV. My name is Sasha Star, and today's guest is Professor Ken Regan. Welcome to the show, Ken.
Yes, thank you very much for having me on again.
Yeah, it's our pleasure, and of course, we're all watching Weekend's
Yes,
tournament, which is this year edition is maybe even more interesting than the last tournaments. Although last tournaments each is incredible in its own rights, but
yeah,
this tournament is really something else. First of all, we have world champion Gukesh playing in this tournament, and although he considered to be a great match player, although I have some doubts about his so-called inferior performance in tournaments because he won candidates tournament and became challenger for a world title. So he's a very very strong tournament competitor just as well, and he's playing. I think the first game in the first round was really exceptional.
yes. It's
It was one of the best games in the last several years, any tournaments or match.
yeah,
Um,
yes, and I have it in a window. So
oh, maybe we could start with
yes,
that.
for some reason I originally thought that maybe we had covered it a week ago, but no, it had not been played yet, so that would have been impossible. Um, so
I agree with you.
and he is among the leaders. So I have three games from. So I'll share my entire screen. So you
Okay,
to navigate the tabs. I hopefully don't have anything sensitive appearing on my screen. So let's see. So let me now make. Yes. So tell me when you see the
yeah,
game with Gukesh and Giri showing.
yes, we can see it.
Okay. Okay. So this was played in round one. And one thing that is known is that Gukesh arrived on the morning of the first round on Saturday because he was given a prestigious award in India.
Hmm.
So he literally stepped off the plane to play this crazy game. Um, and Okay, so action starts building slowly. I should mention that this game traditionally has a longer than FIDE standard time control. So instead of 90 minutes for the initial 40 moves, you get 100 minutes. Instead of 30 minutes at turn 40, you get 50 minutes. And there is the 30-second increment. That's why you see times ticking up for a while. But Gukesh thought 4 minutes over his strategy and decided to engage black sooner rather than later in what is now a very classical looking position. Um, but tactics can enter when people in a symmetrical looking position start doing unsymmetrical things. Well, back to symmetry now. Um, so it's just a question of whether white's space advantage will outweigh black's compactness. Black has no targets to attack, neither does white, of course, but white does have a space advantage.
And
Um,
a little bit advancement in development because he's already castle. He can play rook d1, bishop f4. It's a kind of easy game to play by white at
right.
this point.
White's bishops have better prospects right now. Black's
Sure.
bishops are cramped. And now white also is advancing a pawn, but black, can unwind, and black actually technically has a little bit of a development lead since white still has not moved the bishop on c1. Now it moves, and it's trying to take advantage of black's bishop vacating the e7 square. So black says, okay. And so now this is where it becomes a dare. So obviously, if white had to retreat the bishop, the point of making a target on h6 would have been debatable. But well, black decides, okay, I'll go in for this attack, and this is where the game starts becoming crazy. So the question is whether white has enough compensation um, for this investment of a piece for two pawns. Uh, and black finds a very accurate move. Um, So other moves don't necessarily keep as much advantage. He could have played knight d4 first, but e5 is the right idea. It cuts down a little bit on white's ability to maneuver on the queen side. It prevents white from playing e5. It's the most important thing, immediate thing. Anyway, so here, white is just going to play white has to go slowly. Can't even play f4 right now because of the pin. But now black's bishop retreats to cover the potential pin. And this is very important. Black does not mind giving back an exchange because this will now enable black's pieces to have greater life. Obviously, if black had moved the rook, it would have been queen g5, check and checkmate. So this was important. Okay. Now, actually, the engine says that black should have taken back with the queen, but this isn't bad. So, and now white goes ahead with f4. The engine thinks that white should have just played for more pressure by rook a d1. So the theme is white's rooks should find the open file to work on, take advantage of the fact that black has only one rook. Anyway, f4. So the drawback of this is that black's minors will become active. On the other hand, it is opening a file for white's rook on f1. So, okay, trying to stem black's minor activity, but here we go. Black can play this move because of the pin. So now black's minor activity again. And interestingly, it is now black who is taking over the attack in this position. And king h8, what a move. It's purely prophylactic. It's guarding against knight f6 being check, against some other tactics that might occur, guarding against rook takes f7 being check in some lines. Anyway, so king h8, and now white should have pressed ahead with queen f4. King h1 is a strange move, I think. I don't know what its point is. It was maybe on a mental image of unpinning the pawn. Maybe it was to try to make rook c2 be less active. Actually, let's take a look at why black could not have played rook c2 previously. Okay, the answer is exactly that knight f6 check is strong, and if you take on knight f6, then it's uncover your queen. So, so that's why king h8 was such a great move. And now white tacked, so black plays rook c2. Now black has a roaring initiative. Okay, knight takes d5. Maybe there's something white missed here. So if you take, maybe white has missed that black can actually capture this. Okay, so it's this is definitely worth looking at. If you take with the rook, black just takes. It's a queen sacrifice, but it's also mate. This is what we mean by an attack with minors becoming active. And the real thing here is, and this is where also black's king being on h8 is very nice. If when you play rook f2, okay, well black can play rook takes f2, bishop takes f2 wins as well. But I was thinking if rook takes f2, white cannot play for time by playing rook e4 check. So this is going to be a queen e4 check. There's no check by white's queen. So, okay. So therefore, Gukesh at this point, running down almost all his time. Let's see how much time he used. Yeah, he's down to 38 seconds even before this move. So this is also a time scramble, and it's only moved 26. So he's down to playing on the increment, and he played queen f3. And now queen b6 was not the most accurate way, so black should have played rook takes g2 and then sunk a knight on e3. So anyway, queen b6 though looks logical. This, specter of smothered mates hanging in the air. So white captures on d5, and now we're going to see some amazing tactics with black's bishop. Okay, it's going to come into the game a different way. So here's again the reason black played queen b6, rook takes f2, knight takes f2 check and discovery. So white plays the queen aside, Now, bishop b4, mistake according to the engine. Bishop f5 immediately was better, but let's give black credit for strategy here. Now bishop f5. Okay. Now white can white's queen g5 is technically equal. Black plays reroutes the bishop. Might come in on h6. White still can't capture on f2. I mean, the material is equal in this position. So this is just pure playing tactically. Now, white should check on h5. Instead, white checked on h4 to keep open the option of queen d8 check in some position, queen f6 check in some position. But now black plays bishop h6, which was logical but not right. Instead, king g8 was the tactical move. But both players are playing on increments. It's a time scramble. And here comes the real tragedy of this game, is that black plays the right idea, but does not see how to bring it about twice. So queen takes b2. Now white can safely capture on f2 and should have done so. Generally, when you're in exchange ahead, or rook versus two pieces ahead, you want to trade one pair of rooks so that you have more dominance of the rooks. But anyway, white played h3, trying to, it'll win if black has to move the knight, but black does not have to move the knight. Now, Giri, with just a minute left, found the correct concept. This is an amazing tactical move. Okay, so if rook takes e4, then rook takes f1, check, bishop takes f1, and queen h2, mate. Okay, and if bishop takes e4, then the checkmate is delivered by the queen going back to b6. Oh, actually, just rook takes f1 check and queen h2 mate.
Absolutely.
Actually, the cutest way to mate is this way. Okay. So this is a wonderful theme. However, white is not knocked over by this blow. White captures on f2, and black captures with the knight. And here's the tragedy. Okay, well, only 41 seconds left. He just got 30 seconds on increment. And what this means, incidentally, is that Giri's clock. Oh yeah, no, so it's after the move was made. Okay, so Giri had only 41 seconds left and used 39 of them to investigate the next move. The winning move is to repeat the pattern. Play the knight back to g4, and we still have the same pattern. Okay, if we capture on e4 with the bishop, it's queen f2 and queen h2 mate. Capturing on g4 does not solve the problem of checkmate on g2. But here is what Giri is said to have missed. Okay, I think this came out in the press conference afterward. If white captures with the rook, okay, now queen f2 check doesn't work because you have to king h1, there's no square to check on. And queen b1 check doesn't work because white can interpose. The move that works is a retreating move. Retreating moves are hard to find. And now king f1, it's queen f2 mate. And if king h1, now queen b1 check is going to be made. And that's the detail that in 39 seconds of thinking time, Giri was unable to see. He played the idea in the wrong order. He played queen b6 first. Okay, just to set up the discovery. But among other things, though, white could have just won by king h2. So I'm sure this is just desperation after thinking that knight g4 didn't work. So the point is, Giri's clock ran down to 32 seconds after the move was played, which means it really ran down to 2 seconds before he executed queen b6 and got the 30-second increment. So this was time trouble desperation. Unfortunately, queen f6 check is just squelch. And after this, black scaves 2 pieces for a rook, but white has it is infiltrating, has a passed pawn. Black has no way to organize a defense, and in this position, Giri resigned. So Crazy game, but bit of a tragedy because black really had the upper hand for most of it.
Yeah, but really, really well fought game. Very, very well played by both players, actually.
Yep. And Gukesh has been playing very steadily. He has, at the moment, he is, let's see, has he drawn his game today? No, he has not. So he has, let's see what he has done here. So he has 2 wins and 3 draws. He also beat Vincent Keimer.
Hmm.
He's playing
Yeah.
very solidly. And at the moment, he is in an even end game against Nodirbek Abdusattorov, who is also one of the leaders.
And it's very interesting game too. And also, I've enjoyed Magnus Carlsen's commentaries on this game. And I don't know if you've seen it. There was very interesting opening, and I want to tell you at some point if you could see it
Is he on the video commentary or?
on video. Yes,
Okay.
you know there are 2 commentators, and Carlson was a special guest today. He spent about probably 20 minutes, maybe even 30, just commenting on the current positions, which made it extremely valuable positional lecture of Carlson and his understanding of chess, which is incredible. And that's what, if we could start first few moves of that game, I will tell you exactly what he said.
This game.
Yeah,
Gukesh Nodirbek. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wait a sec. We're talking about something else. Nodirbek Gukesh. No, it's I think it's a Abdusadorov. Wait a sec. No, it's game by Fedoseev Black and Sorana White.
Oh, this game. Okay, yeah. This is also interesting. Okay.
Okay, hold on. Okay, right here. Oh, wait a sec. So now he's talking about this position. And you know what interesting he had to say? He said, look at the position. Black normally develops, has a very good pawn structure, ready to castle, and has no difficulties in developing his pieces. 2 plans are, one is starting with g6, with idea bishop f5.
Right.
And another one, what's happened in the game, queen a5. But, okay, let's continue with the game continuation.
Yeah.
Queen a5.
Yeah, white played h3, to maybe discourage black from castling king's side a little. But
that's right.
But now the specter of black being able to liquidate some pieces is hanging over the position. So in fact, black refuses the trade of queens.
Okay, let's stop on this position. Very interestingly enough, white's position, I mean, it's probably equal, but it's not very comfortable to play this position for white because, number one, how to defend b2 pawn.
Mm-hmm.
If you play queen c2 knight b4, if you play knight e2 doesn't work, you take on b2 and knight at c3 is scanning. And at this point, Magnus said very interesting and maybe controversial thing. He's saying this position shows precisely why d4, opening move for white, is inferior to e4, because in e4 openings, white doesn't have to worry how to develop his pieces and castle. And this opening here shows that this is not straightforward opening to solve white's problem, because look, white is underdeveloped. He still needs to play his knight out and castle, and black is ready to castle any move now. And black is one who is inserting some pressure. And well, as we see in continuation of the game, I think black was not entirely successful, but it's not because of the opening.
Yes, well, I'll say something channeling Tarish from more than 100 years ago.
Yeah.
White has invested a tempo in h3, which is not so meaningful here. So at this moment, white is really black.
Yeah,
so it's not surprising that white is under pressure.
Yes, yes, it is, and I think that in this position, yeah, Queen B3 was probably the only playable move in this situation. But still, the position is okay, or at least okay for Black.
It's fine for black. Black's knight is coming in. Um, so yes, this is fine. The engine says the sunny side of equality for black, but yeah, black's position looks very harmonious. How does white manage to outplay black a little bit from this point on? But just now, white is actually right now doing very well. So maybe black missed a chance to do something incisive. And let's see where the engine thinks that black lost that minus 0.30. The engine thinks that f5 was not such a great move.
Yeah, I think it creates a weakness and doesn't accomplish anything because you cannot play f4 anyway. So
Yeah,
what is f5 doing? Just protecting e4 pawn one more time.
it's inflexible. Yeah, it likes h6, which I guess is more
Mhm.
flexible. I don't know what h6 does. It makes luft, makes a retreat
Yeah,
here for the bishop. So the bishop will go to h7 after knight f4, and then let's see. So this position here, the engine wants to play. Yeah, bishop. Well, it's vacillating between bishop h7, bishop f5. So it's strategic. Yeah, well, strategic nicety there. Anyway, um, so by the way, game continued at f5. Now black has had to retreat, and I don't know. This is very interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. White is actually starting to advance, and now white actually has an appreciable edge. Could have played d6 or just putting pressure. Yeah, I mean this. If I looked at this, oh yeah, white is well ahead here.
I think knight a7 in some positions is playable, or maybe next move.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, knight takes
All right
a7
here.
is definitely playable. Yeah, and it got played. Wow. Yep, the black's rook came off the defense of the queen, so it's pinned. Now black is in massive trouble. So how did black manage to avoid getting smushed here? Wow, look at that. Yeah, so now just take the pawn. Queen takes b5. So maybe the position I looked at the end is winning for white. Let's see. Well, you've lost a piece temporarily. You're going to win the exchange, I guess. I see. That's the point. White is an exchange up. Okay, in the position they looked at. For some reason, I thought it was two pieces from the rook. Okay.
No
Oh, yeah,
way.
white is an exchange up and should win this position. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and this is mayhem. This is over. Okay. Okay. So very interesting, and that's going to knock down Vladimir Fedoseev from chasing the leaders.
Yeah, it's very painful loss for Fedoseev. There's no doubt about that because he played very well throughout the tournament. However, it's not over yet, so he may
Right.
still improve his position.
Let's take a look at the challengers, where it's time to put in a P in for an older player. Erwin
Mhm.
Lamy is just gone past 40, and he's at 4.5. Although I think Benjamin Bach can pass him, or did they just draw? Erwin is the husband of Alina Lamy, great photographer, player, good player herself. Yeah, Benjamin Bach drew. So actually, Erwin Lamy has a clear lead over the field. I don't think that any of the other players can catch him.
There is a great motivation for him to win this tournament because he would be eligible for next Master edition next year,
Right,
the winner.
of course, that would be a great thing. Also of note, though, Lu Miaoyi got off to a rocket start with 2 wins from the first 3 rounds before being stopped by Benjamin Bach. And last time I had an optical mistake and thought I was showing a game she won, uh,
Mhm.
but I was right to highlight her. And there actually are quite a few interesting games. This is one of her winning games, but there is actually, interestingly enough, if I want to show one game to represent the challengers, though, I should show a game that Liu Maoyi lost again. Okay,
Mhm.
this was a crazy game. Again, very indicative of fighting chess. So again, with apologies to Liu Maoyi, she's playing great, but I'm representing her by a lost game just for interest. Um, so okay, so Sicilian defense. We don't see the Sicilian defense so much. It's always
Maybe it's overanalyzed. That's why.
yeah, maybe yeah. So anyway, this certainly was overanalyzed. It's a classic. I forgetting the name of this attack, but anyway, um, White does not play f4 early on, so plays this way, and White prefers f3, taking it a little slower. Okay, so Black will play on the queen side. White will try to get something going on the king side. So what's fun about this game is it's almost like one of Sam Lloyd's famous problems. One of White's pawns is going to do the Excelsior and promote. And on what square does this pawn promote? So Liu Maoyi is going to make a queen in this game. Name the pawn and name the square. so okay. So b4, black goes on the queen side, and so c4. Here we go. That pawn gets captured. But here we go. Another pawn. Okay. Knight b5. Okay, so black plays d5, and this should have been punished by playing e5, and I don't know, things get crazy, but white is at least attacking with this move. Rook c1, however, can't fault that. Also looks good. Rook is threatening to come in on c7. Queen b8. Oh, now e5, but it would have been better last time. Okay, bishop a5. Here comes the pawn. Bishop b4, a very good move. Got the bishop out of the pin, so now black's knight can move. White is still doing well. White's attack on the king's side looks like it's moving faster than black's attack on the queen's side at this moment. But obviously you have to do something about it. And rook and queen h3, unfortunately, was just too direct. So turns out, so the move that the engine wants is a move that it's really hard to play. Okay. And that's f5. It looks like it's hanging something. So we can do this, and we can do this. And now white just plays bishop e2. This, if you're thinking ahead in a position like this, it looks like you've lost a pawn in a tempo. You just have another pawn hanging. What did you accomplish? But from the amazing engine sense, the fact is that with two bishops and the pawn on b5, black has his hands full defending against this. So, and that idea is part of why Liu Maoyi had the point of, well, I can also attack on the queen side as well. I'll attack on the king side, and now I'll switch over to attacking on the queen side. Maybe pipe dreams of rook takes e6 in some position, who knows? Well, black starts with the queen side counterplay, and now here comes white's pawn, but this is already a mistake. So the engine wants white to play f5, okay? But probably with the idea that you're going to make a perpetual check in some position. It's not winning. So this is crazy. The players did have 10, 15 minutes left at this point. Okay, now bishop takes g6 was on as a move, but Liu Maoyi went to queen her pawn. And this is really a consequent position, because the natural move, of course, is for black to play rook b8. And now you can calculate that bishop takes g6 is working. Okay, this is like this and this. This is working spectacularly for white. I mean, it's not going to win, but it's going to be a draw by perpetual check. But it works as far as its own internal logic goes. So white's going to sacrifice a rook on g6 and get a perpetual check in this position. Black also has to play very carefully. Like rook fe8 is the only move to stay alive for black in this position. And now white goes rook takes g6 check, and I don't know, maybe does win if he analyzes more deeply. The point is that obviously after b7, you think black is going to play rook b8, and that throwing in those two moves was good. White could have played bishop takes g6 right away. So rook to b7, but now maybe, spectacular move of the tournament. Black does not have to move the attacked rook. Instead, we continue our own attack. Okay, so white has to accept this this gift. So things are just getting crazy. If you play bishop takes g6, h takes g6, rook takes e6, black does not have to pay attention to you. In fact, rook a6 itself completely defends along that line. So that's the other reason that white split rook on pawn on b6 would have stopped that. So capture the rook. There's the queening on a8, and okay. So now white, however, is staring, imminent death down that file. So, for instance, b3 does not put it up an umbrella. Okay, a2 check, and then king a1, bishop c3 check is mate. The next move. So white had to trade off black's rook at least. Okay, and now black doesn't even have to recapture white's bishop. Black is a full rook down and is attacking only with a queen, a bishop, and a knight that hasn't entered the game yet. But nevertheless, there's no way white can defend against this. Okay, white has to recapture the pawn. Now you take. The other thing in the position is white's bishop on g5 is out of play. And nice attacking move again. The bishop on b4 can't be taken. And Liu Maoyi, who again was down to just seconds. They were both down to seconds on the clock, still with 6 moves to turn 40. Liu Maoyi fell into checkmate by 1, but she was losing in any event. Black's d pawn is also a giant factor in this position. So that was quite an exciting game. I mean, annotations could cover several magazine pages to get.
I think it will be analyzed in many chess.
All of the depth of that game, but it represents the incredible fighting chess that's being played in both sections of this tournament. And I haven't even gotten to 2 stories. I haven't even gotten to are the travails of Faustino Oro, the very young prodigy who righted his ship, by winning in round 3 and drawing in round 5 a little bit. And he's in an even but tactical endgame. The pawn on g6 is a little bit of a wedge, but he is up a pawn in this position. And then the other story is Arjun Erigaisi. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But he played a definite let's right the ship game against Fabiano Caruana. Here's Carlsen's e4 for white. But I don't think white played one of the more challenging lines in this Berlin position. So black doesn't have to get double pawns. The pieces just come off, and this is a draw. So another Berlin draw. So anyway, but Erigaisi is recovering. He has 3 losses and 3 draws.
Yeah, he was one of the favorite players to win the tournament. And actually, what I enjoy is this concept of having a Masters tournament and the tournament. How you call it? A B tournament?
Right. There used to be a C tournament too. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think they have open tournament, and I think tournament a lot of people are playing, and so there's a quite interesting fight for first place in Challenger or B tournament to qualify for the major Masters tournament next year. But judging from this player who won the tournament, the B tournament last year, he's not doing that well in Menduka in this major Masters tournament. Right. So there's still kind of a gap. I think they should think about make the Challengers tournament stronger and invite more players to be challenged for the first prize and entering the major tournament next year. I think
Well,
think about this concept.
well, one laudable thing is that the challengers generally always invites a number of women players. So right
Yes.
now, the female players in the challengers are Irina Bulmaga, who plays a lot of open tournaments, Ramesh Babu Vaishali, and
Mhm.
then Divya Deshmukh, Liu Mao Yi, and I thought there was one more women tournament, women in the tournament. Um, who am I missing? I thought there were five. Okay, well, there were four. Um, and um, so the thing is, I believe, but have not been able to prove that the world's female players at this level are collectively points, 75 elo underrated. So you could, make the challengers stronger by just adding 75 to all of their ratings, as I think should be the case. So,
Well, even so, I don't think that, for example, any winner of today's edition of Challengers B tournament, so called, would have any chances to succeed in a major Masters tournament next year. So it will be, well, participation in itself is already an awesome prize for these players. I agree with that. But I don't think that they really can make a dent among elite players who are playing in the Masters tournament. But well, who knows? Maybe situation will change slowly.
mhm.
But I think that they should think of making the B, because it's just the only tournament, in my opinion, in the world whenever they have this group A and Group B, and from Group B, the winner is qualified to Group A. I don't know if there are any tournaments of that kind in the world. Do you know, Ken?
The tournaments of that kind were one oh Beal is not that way, I guess. No, let's see.
And Bill? Maybe
Um,
it used to be Hastings. They had the B tournament, but again, Hastings is no longer is being played, as I'm aware. So, but anyways, the tournament so far is very, very interesting. I
yeah,
enjoy watching it every day, and so
yeah.
8 o'clock in the
Cleo
morning.
Fan
Um,
played in Tata Steel A once, right? But she
hmm,
doesn't seem like she qualified from the B to get there. She was invited on the basis of rating. That's why
that's
I
right.
was just checking. Well, actually, let me just go to scroll to the very beginning of 2013. Oh, she was in Tata Steel A twice, actually, 2 consecutive years. And then, so she was clearly invited, at least invited the second year. Was she ever in Tata Steel B? Actually, I can now do chess-based alphabetize this. Let's see. So tournament, if I alphabetize by tournament, um, so it was just in Tata Steel A several times, most recently 2018. So it has happened, but not by qualifying from the Tata Steel B. Um, so anyway, yeah. So I'm looking forward to following the tournament. Um, so
Yeah, yeah. Likewise, Ken. Thank you very much for today's program. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you same place, same time.
okay, yep,
Next week.
yep.
Bye, bye, everybody.
Bye bye.